If you're not on the Gantt chart, switch back to the Gantt chart view by clicking on the button on the View tab. Or you can click on the button on the Task tab. They'll both take you to the same place. We've worked quite a bit with the Gantt chart view. Now we need to explore the fact that it has a table side and a chart side. Each window has its own horizontal scroll bar. Thus you can move the table and the Gantt chart off the screen. Now, why is this important? Well, many times I've gotten a phone call from a new user saying their task table has disappeared, only to have them say a few moments later, never mind, as they realized all they needed to do was scroll the horizontal scroll bar for the table back to the left side of the window pane. Now some scroll bar tricks. You can click in the elevator shaft, as I call it, and move it a full page over. Or you can grab the elevator car itself and drag it along to where you want it. Either way, you get the idea. You're scrolling one side of the screen. Same thing is true for the chart side of the screen. And of course, my favorite trick is to use the dum-dum button to get things back in order. Okay, the next problem I usually run into when people are using the Gantt chart is they'll get a call and they'll say that the Gantt chart itself has disappeared. Well, what often has happened is they've dragged the window pane slider all the way over to the right. I'll leave it just a little bit there so you can see it. No, I won't. I'll pull it all the way over. And they'll say it's gone. Well, in fact, all they got to do is grab it, move it back, or the reverse problem is they've gotten rid of the entire table. Now, there's a tip here. Some users have told me that sometimes they just want to print the chart or they just want to print the table, and they use this problem and turn it into a trick to hide either side. I've also been told by more devious users that they have sent a file to a comrade with the table hidden and the chart exposed. So see, there are practical benefits to taking this class. Okay, practical jokes, but they're practical. Let's move on. To make this view concept even more difficult to get your brain around, Microsoft has thrown in a couple more curveballs. And the curveball they've thrown in here we're going to look at is something called custom table views. These are preset table setups that bring in a different set of columns to the view on the screen. The default table in the Gantt chart view is called the entry table. You'll probably never change from this, but we're going to change it to show you that you can and show you what happens. We're going to change it to the cost table. To do this, we need to go to the View tab, and in the Tables button, which is in the Data group, we'll click it open, and you'll see there are several different built-in tables. A cost table, the entry table, which is the default, something called a hyperlink table, schedule table, tracking, variance, work, summary, and usage. Now again, in the method, you'll only use the entry table, but let's change to the cost table to see what we get. Okay, what happens is, since Microsoft Project is a database, the underlying fields in the view for the Gantt chart changes to a set of cost tables that include fixed cost, cost accrual, total cost, baseline cost, variance, and actual. Now in the next section, the Format tab Essentials, we'll present why you don't need to use the Tables command, as you can use the Insert Column command that's on the Format tab, as it is a more effective way to modify the table side of the Gantt chart. So for the method, you could chuck the Tables button. There are better and easier ways to make the column tables change, and we shall see how that is done with the Insert Column button on the next tab, the Format tab. Now, before I go, I need to change my table setting back. So click on Tables and go back to the Entry table.